Hollywood Heat, Cantley and Malik. This week, we actually do have another special guest with us. He was just recently in the Venom 2. Does lots of good work. I was actually looking at your profile on IBMB, and Otis Winston, thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually really interested. How did you get your start in acting and everything? When we had our episode last week with Glenn, he talked about, being an athlete and everything prior to his acting. How do you make that transition from being an athlete, and you were a two-sport athlete too, basketball and football, to being an actor?
Actually, basketball and track.
Basketball and track. I'm sorry. Yeah, basketball and track.
You good. It was, to me, that's what made it simple.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made it easier, is because, athletes, we learn this discipline. We have this discipline. And for me, all the way through middle school, through high school, through college, I was a two-sport athlete. Especially being a two-sport athlete in college is kind of intense. I never had, like when I was there, we had quarters. We had quarters. So I never had one quarter off. Like usually when you're a one sport athlete, you get quarters off. Like I would start basketball in July, but I would finish track in June.
Wow.
So I was literally going year round. So that discipline really is what I used when it came to this acting gig. There's this acting thing, and I've been doing it for over 11 years now. But I started it as a writer, and I got introduced to the right people, and one thing led to another, and they told me I need to be in front of the screen before I get behind the screen, and God just started opening those doors, brother, and I haven't looked back.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's big time. I was just gonna say that is definitely perfect into my question of, when you do go from being an athlete, dedicating majority of your life to being an athlete, how was that transition into your other passions? Like I think you said you got into writing and things like that. Like going into that, was it uncomfortable? And like I'm always interested in hearing, okay, I'm done being an athlete. Now it's time to focus on my other passions.
And see, that's the thing. I think that's the biggest misconception. You're never done being an athlete.
Yeah.
See, even as an actor, I'm an athletic actor. So all my stuff that I do, for example, I do my own stunts, especially if they're not too crazy. So that takes athleticism to be able to do that. And I approach it like I really approach my acting like game day. Like I just got done doing a movie with Gerard Butler, and Gerard Butler, Daniela, and Mike Halter. We were all down in Puerto Rico for a month, and my man Remy Adeleke, and we were just filming. And every day I went to set, the first thing that would click in my head is game time.
Wow,
game time, because see. Yeah. Practices are different than the games, but practices prepare you for the games. My auditions are my practices. My shooting is my game time. That's how it goes with me. That's how I make sure I'm ready. I'm zoned in. I'm focused. Like I said, I'm focused.
Yes, sir.
Making sure I rock, because it's easy. You can easily get like distracted, especially in this world, man, with everything going on in the world right now. So I try to make sure I keep my head down. I put my hood up. I make sure I got my focus on, and I just rock, man. I rock. I get ready, because when I get on set, I want to make sure, one, I never waste the production's time. And the way you do that is that if you're not prepared for your lines, you're not prepared mentally, physically, or emotionally. So I'm making sure I'm always prepared. I never want to be the one where the director have to say, cut, he's not ready. I never want to be that person. Just like I never want to be the guy sitting on a bench and my number's called, and then I go to the table, take my warm-ups off, and I got my drawers on instead of my
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I think that's the same mindset. So you got to make sure that you are mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually ready for that journey. That's it.
Yeah.
It was interesting too. You were talking about, things like doing your own stunts and everything. We were actually just talking about Malik. You're talking about Ice Cube doing stunts.
Yeah. I was telling Cantley, I was just watching Triple X, and I was like, literally every 5 minutes you've seen a stuntman. Like he wasn't wearing no extra makeup, nothing. I was dying.
Yeah, it's see, that's why you have to, for me, I have to bring something different that nobody else is going to bring. So if the stunt isn't crazy, for example, on the movie I just did with Gerard Butler, I did my own stunt on that. So I say the production money.
Yeah.
So if I'm saving the production money, guess what? They're like, okay, I think I like this kid. So
Right.
I'm about to leave in probably I think I leave on the 26th. I go to Atlanta. I start doing a movie with Pierce Brosnan. I'll be down there filming for a month.
Wow.
So it's like you got to be able to bring something different that nobody else is trying to bring right now. And that's one of the things that I try to bring.
Okay. Malik.
Yeah. So just being in the recent movie you've been in, Venom 2, when you got that role or got that opportunity, was it something that you was looking forward to as far as it being like a superhero, you know what I mean, movie like that? Or was it just something where you were like, this is an opportunity, I'm about to just jump on it? What was your thoughts going into the role?
Well, first I did Venom 1 and it was crazy because I was just, the chasing guard, even though it was speaking. It was the speaking lines, which is good because you get residuals off of that. But this one, I remember it so vividly because when my big brother, Casey Hoddenfield, got me to audition, he was the first AD and he mentioned me for the audition. They sent me the sides. I was actually in Chicago filming. I was filming, I think I was filming Empire. I was filming Empire in Chicago. And so they sent me the sides, and I usually have my fiance or my son or my daughter there to help me with my sides. But now I was by myself and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta get this audition done. And I wasn't at home. So I went down to the front desk and I asked the front desk, I was like, yo, can I get a conference room? Because if you saw the movie, I'm screaming. So I was like, I didn't want to be in my room screaming. Then they called security on me. So I went downstairs. I asked if I can get a conference room. They said yes. I had to set my camera up on a table. I didn't have a tripod, so I had to set the camera up on the table. So I had to get creative. And so I would have to hit record, walk back, and then I would start auditioning and screaming back and forth, yelling my mind out, just yelling, And then when I sent it in, and I told the people at the front desk, I was like, "Thank you so much for allowing me to do this in this conference room." I really didn't know what to expect. I knew what it was. I knew what type of opportunity it was. I knew it was a bigger part, and I knew something magical happened to my character. So when I got it, and when I was on set filming it, it was just like one of those blessing moments. I tell everybody, it's almost like when Samuel Jackson first started. He got his first big role at the age of 46. I'm 48 now. I've been doing it since I was 36, but I didn't get that break until I was like 46. So it was almost like the same time stamp as the great Samuel Jackson. Am I comparing myself to him? Absolutely not. He's one of the greatest actors to ever do it. But he was one of my inspirations because he didn't start right out of college. He didn't start as a teenager. He started as a grown man. And I started as a grown man, and not only that, I'm doing it from Columbus. I'm a full-time SAG actor. That's all I do is and I'm doing it from Columbus, Ohio, man. The best, to me, the best state in the United States.
No, 100%.
I've never left. That's why I never left. I'm Ohio born, I'm Ohio bred, I'm Ohio raised, and that's what I love about it. So that was the thing for me. That was the thing for me, knowing that it would lead to something greater.
Yeah.
See, if there's talent, they'll find you. They'll find you without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah. Except for you can't just be talented though.
True.
You got to be. I tell my kids this all the time. You got to be hungry. You got to be humble.
Yeah.
You got to be likable. Because it's too many, but nobody want to work with a butthole, man. Be honest.
For sure.
But like think about it. If Malik was a butthole, you would not want to do this with him.
Nah,
every
I wouldn't
Saturday.
want to do it.
I
Not
don't
every
want to deal
week.
with this dude, man. I'm cool. You know, I'll put a dummy up in the chair and just
Right.
talk to somebody. You know what I'm
Walk back
saying?
and forth. So were
Yeah.
you a pretty big superhero fan, like with Marvel and everything before these movies? I can even tell, like, by your shirt, the design of your own hoodies, like it looks like you're pretty into like comics and things like that. So kind of talk about, your experience like with superheroes, comics, all that stuff prior to these Venom movies.
Man, I mean, you got to remember growing up, I had one toy because, I was from projects of Youngstown, Ohio, before my mom moved us to a small town called Toronto. So growing up, the youngest of four boys, I got a lot of hand-me-downs.
Okay.
And my first toy that I got that wasn't a hand-me-down, you guys are too young to remember this. I got this stretchy hawk. It was the hawk that you can stretch. And I carried that thing everywhere. That was my alter ego, because being a kid who couldn't talk until I was 11, who stuttered, who got made fun of, David Banner and the Incredible Hulk was that's where I got to go to. If somebody made me mad, guess what? If you was making fun of me, you got the Hulk.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't talk, but I'll beat the dust out of you. So that I was always big into that. That was that's where I got to fantasize and go to another place, man. So it is to be doing this now. It's a blessing, man. It's like it's a dream come true.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Totally.
I was about to say, so yeah, I love this conversation right now, Otis. You a real humble dude. You definitely ambitious. I definitely want to hear what projects do you have outside of the goals you're trying to reach as an actor, or is being an actor now your number one goal? What are you working towards right now?
Right now, I have I always tell people, the wolf on top of the hill is never as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill. So, and I tell them the top of one mountain is the bottom of another. So I'm climbing this acting mountain, right? So while I'm climbing this acting mountain, I got my own shows that I've written. I got my own scripts, and so I'm really trying to get my two scripts. So I got actually five scripts together. Wow. But now I'm being asked to come on to other projects as producing and attaching myself to it. So I'm learning that you don't be one-dimensional. I've never been one-dimensional.
Yep.
As you can see, I was a two-sport athlete my entire life, as well as a student athlete. So I had to make sure I wore many hats. So to say I'm just an actor is to limit the potential that I believe that God truly put in me. So now I'm trying to get to the realm of producing more and attaching myself to projects that I'm producing, so I can help others who are writing. So I can come back and say, oh, this person got a good project, and read their script. Except for, people be sending me scripts and I'm like, I can't read your script because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
So I gotta protect them as well as protect me. Hey, is it protected? Is it copywritten? Is it whatever? So people just want you to read stuff and you're like, nah, I can't just do that because I write scripts as well. So the way I protect myself is I'll make sure they sign an NDA or I sign an NDA, because it's always looking for the next thing. Never get complacent.
Yeah.
Never get complacent. I was speaking at a high school yesterday and I told them my favorite character of any cartoon besides Mickey Mouse. I'm a big Mickey Mouse fan because of what happened and how he was discovered, with how he saved Walt Disney's life. I'm a huge Walt Disney fan, huge Disney fan, because of just the story of Walt Disney and how he almost, went bankrupt and all this stuff and still succeeded. Now look at him years now. So I was telling them one of my favorite cartoon characters is Dory. And the reason that is because her short-term memory.
Yeah.
She if she did good, she forgot it. If she did bad, she forgot it. I tell people what happens is that when you do good, and if you sit on just doing good, you're not working to do better. And if you do bad, and if you're constantly thinking about doing bad, guess what? You're going to do worse.
Yeah.
because of that energy that you're giving out. So I'm like Dory, yes, I push for the movies when I'm doing them. For example, I'm still pushing Venom 2 a little bit right now because it's still in the theaters and still doing well, but I'm already thinking about The Outlaws with Pierce Brosnan. Before that, I was already thinking about The Plane that I was down there doing with Gerard Butler and everyone else. So it's like you have to constantly be thinking about, okay, live in the moment,
Yeah.
breathe in the moment. Like I tell my kids, inhale, exhale. And I do that with life. If somebody pisses me off, I inhale, I exhale. I got to let it out, because if I tell both of y'all right now, inhale and hold your breath, you guys going to hold your breath until you can't anymore. And then it's going to be hard to breathe, and you're going to like just, that's how exhausted you get when you hold on to things that you shouldn't. Right. So I treat everything like air. That means I'm enjoying the moment. I let it go. I move on to the next moment.
Yeah. Wow, that's deep. But yeah, that's deep.
I love it, Otis, man. You're definitely someone who I would imagine, like you said, it didn't matter when you started. Your time's definitely coming, and definitely I could definitely tell by just your energy and the stuff you got going on right now, man. Hey, keep going for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I had one more question for you because I thought it was interesting. Something you just said. You talked about the mountain, because I heard your soundbite when I was at work the other night playing, and I thought that was interesting. And you started talking about, your son and everything like that. And you talked about him being an athlete too. So just kind of talk about your family life real quick, your and everything going on with that.
That's my that is my backbone.
Yeah.
My family grounds me. They ground me, man. I remember when I got custody over my two kids, when I met she's my girlfriend at the time, she's my fiance now, and life was rough, bro. I remember when I had found out that my ex-wife wanted a divorce. I had lost my job, and she filed for divorce all in the same week. Wow. And it was rough. And I knew that it wasn't the end. Mm-hmm. I knew that God had something better in store. So I fought, and that's what made me stay in Columbus, because I knew once I got custody over them, I wouldn't be able to leave, because I would relinquish that custody, and I didn't want to do that. Yeah. So I had to become that rose that grew out of the concrete. I had to grow where I was planted. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I didn't want to miss their life. My dad was in prison until I was 19. The first time he saw me do anything athletically, I was a freshman in college. Wow. I didn't want that for my children. Yeah. So I had to make sure that I sacrificed. To me, I have this saying that I always say, love is in the sacrifice. Love is in the sacrifice. For God so loved the world, he gave. He sacrificed this for the world. So to me, love is in the sacrifice. So my family is the one thing that I will always sacrifice for. I will always let them know that they are my mountaintop. Yep. They are my mountaintop. So when they ask me, why am I so hungry? I got like 6 people relying on me, 7. Yep. And then you got you, and it's going to be more than that, because grandchildren are coming. So I'm trying to create a generational wealth for my children's 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 children. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wanted to go children's infinity. I don't want it to ever dry up. Yeah. So my family is my motivation. They are my motivation. I want them to look at me. I say this all the time at my funeral. When people walk up to my children and say, your father was a good man, I want my children to be able to say, nah, my dad was a great man, because they're the only ones that matter. Everybody else in this world, like I don't impact them directly. I impact everyone in this household directly. So how I love them, how I'm there for them, how I support them, how I cheer for them, how I show them what God can do when you say yes and use me until you can't use me no more, keep using me up. That's what matters to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I could tell by listening to them talk about you. I was like, man, like this dude, I was like, he's a good, definitely like say great man. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
dude.
about to say, I got one more thing. I'm really close with my dad as well. Like my dad is my right hand man.
Yeah.
And one thing my dad always told me was like, your dreams is completely separate from my dreams. So asking you, what are your kids doing? Are they in acting, writing? Have you been pushing that on them? Like, yo, you gotta get some classes in. Like, what are you doing now?
See, I ain't even take classes.
Okay.
I didn't think. What I tell my kids is this, like, especially being a former athlete, I never push sports on my kids. I let them find it for themselves.
Yeah.
Because I never wanted to be that dad. I could have put a ball in my son's hand when he was in the crib. I could have did same with my daughter. He gravitated towards it. She gravitated towards it. So I didn't do it. They did it on their own, you know. So as now my son is a writer, which is funny.
Yeah.
He has some creative writing going on. My daughter, she's being who she wants to be right now, and I'm supporting everything that she does. She's working hard, providing for herself, and I love it. And then I got the 3 bonus children who are doing everything that they want to do, and I'm just trying to make sure I'm there to support them. Then I got the grandbabies. So my thing is to show them that no matter what you do, I'm always here. Even if you do something that would disappoint me, I can't get disappointed to the point where I turn my back, because as a father, my job is to, when you, just like when they were kids, they would fall down, I would pick them up, dust them off, like, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. You know, the shock of the fall made a baby cry more than the hurt of the fall.
Yeah.
The embarrassment of the fall will make a kid cry more than the hurt of the fall.
Right.
That's how it is as young adults. The embarrassment of them getting in trouble, the embarrassment of them disappointing will make them cry more than anything. So the one thing that I've learned is, no matter what you do, to never ever say, oh, that disappointed me to the point to where I can't look at you.
Right.
That hurts more than anything.
Yeah.
Did it hurt? Whatever you do, will it hurt? Would it sting? Absolutely. But I'm still your dad.
Right.
And I'm still going to be there to help you. And I'm still going to be there to make sure that we can climb this mountain together.
Yeah. Man, that's deep stuff. Yeah, I gotta sit with that one for a second. That's some, yeah.
For sure.
I gotta sit with that. Well, Otis, thank you again for joining us too. Like I said, Jay Richardson, kind of put me in contact with you, showed me your work and everything. So I was super interested in it. And I felt like it was good to have you on here. So I appreciate you taking your time to do it.
Of course, that's my little brother, man. He's a big Venom fan.
Yeah.
Huge Venom fan. So, and that's little bro. He's doing this thing, man. For me, I'm learning that, like I tell Jay all the time, there's so much out here for all of us to win.
Right.
For all of us to win. There's no way. I was just on set, man, in Puerto Rico, and it was 3 brothers with similar body builds, similar energy, and we all were in the same film. We all had nice roles in this film. Yeah. It was Remy Adeleke, it was Mike Coulter, and it was myself. And we were all talking about, man, all 3 of us are on the same film, and we're hanging together, and we're uplifting each other, and we're trying to encourage each other. Mike is on a show called Evil. Remy got a book out, what's the #1 seller, called Transition. And wow. It's like we're all supporting one another. We still keep in contact, pushing one another. Remy texts me. Remy and I text at least 3 to 4 times a week. Mike and I are DMing each other at least 3-4 times a week, because that's what it's about. It's about that true brotherhood. It's about I don't want to be known as a Black actor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be known as a Black writer. I want to be known as an actor. I want to be known as a writer. I want to touch everybody. I'm not separating myself. Now, do I love my people? Absolutely. I love my people. I always support my people. I always ride with my people. Right. As you know, but I think it's time to elevate like to the level of where Denzel, if I say Denzel Washington, you don't call him a black actor.
No.
He's a
an
great
actor.
actor who happens to be black.
Yep.
Right.
That's the difference. He's a great actor who happens to be black. So that's just what I'm loving about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm loving about it. So that's where I see myself at. I want to be known as this dude did it without an agent. He did it without a manager. He did it not being in LA, Atlanta, Chicago, New York. He's in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio, and he's a full-time actor. That don't tell me God ain't good, man.
God is good.
Don't tell me he can't take you and use you where you are.
Right. He definitely can.
Yes, he can.
Otis, where can people find your work? Like, any other projects you're working on, your social media, things like that?
Well, my social media, of course, IG is just Otis D. Winston. Twitter is O Winston. And then Facebook is just Otis D. Winston as well. And then, I got a few things out there on YouTube. If you put my name up, you'll see a few of the short films that I put together. But you're going to see a lot. Get used to this face.
Yes.
No, 100%.
I'll get used to it.
You're gonna see a lot of me coming soon, man, because I'm not stopping. I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it for, I remember being a young black kid in the projects, and the only fantasy that I had was out on the television. I want to be that face that kids can look at and say, I want to be like him. So I can't just be one way on the screen and not be even better off the screen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
I got to carry myself in a way that where I'm not saying I'm perfect. I make all kind of mistakes, but what I'm saying is I want to be that guy when people see, I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm not standoffish. Kids can walk up and talk to me and I can tell them, don't you give up. But listen to your mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to be.
Yeah. You're on the right path. Like I said, when you blow up, we'll have to have you on here again, or we can say, remember when Otis was on here before he got mega big. So
I guarantee I'll be here. I guarantee.
Say less.
My word, I will be back, and y'all will be even bigger than what y'all are now. How about that?
Oh, thanks. We'll be at the top together. So yes, sir. Well, Otis, thanks again so much for joining us. Everybody go see Venom 2 if you haven't seen it. I'm in that group of people. I still need to go check it out. I'm trying to find some time. So for sure. Well, like I said, Otis, we appreciate your time, everybody, and we'll see you guys next week on Hollywood Heat.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.